Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Infinite I Am Global event, in which we will gather for powerful conversations with scientists, wisdom keepers, shamans, healers, intuitives, astrologers, visionaries, to bring a deep understanding of our relation to the divine, to all that is, has been, and will always be. This event is designed to open up space for all of us to remember the infinite and powerful light being that we all are, to acknowledge the sacredness of everything, to restore the ancient knowledge of living in oneness, to consciously honor our choice to incarnate in this moment of time and offer our unique contribution for recreating the indigenous way of living on Earth. Here you are invited to tune into the wisdom and the healing energy created in these conversations and experience your own deep transformation. I'm your host and the creator of this event, Veselka Nikolova, and today I am welcoming to the summit Linn. Welcome, Heather. And
thank you, Veselka. Thank you.
That you're here today. You're very welcome. I'm going to give a brief introduction to the audience so that know about you a little. Heather Linn is an energy alchemist, clairvoyant, intuitive coach, and an author. She's the founder of the Emerald Wisdom School, which offers guidance and energy tools for the new Earth paradigm. Having run a thriving energy healing practice for 15 years, she brings a wealth of knowledge about working with energy and a unique angle to the school's online programs and individual sessions. Her first book, No Gold Without the Dragon, Wisdom Teachings of a Quantum Healer, was published in February 2023. Heather lives in Cape Town, South Africa. It's a truly short introduction for Heather. However, I invite you to click on the link below this video to learn more about Heather and her interesting life and her interesting and amazing work that she's doing and offering to everyone. So today we're going to talk with Heather about your monadic I am and soul embodiment. And the first question, before we go into the topic, onto the substance, I'd like to ask something else. So Heather, you had a car accident when you were 21, led to a near-death experience. Can you describe your experience and tell us how it shaped your understanding of the infinite I am?
Yes, well, it was, as you can imagine, quite a life-changing experience, especially at that age. So I was in my final year at university in South Africa, and I was involved in a serious car crash and lost consciousness and left my body. And then I entered this very light and actually very, very peaceful space. It was really quiet and I felt like floating. And at a certain point, I became aware that there was another being with me, another light being. And this being communicated with me telepathically and gave me a choice and basically said I could choose to continue my life on Earth and go back into my body, or I could carry on further into the light and basically transition. And I was told that all I had to do was think the choice. And I remember hesitating for a moment because it was so blissful that I didn't really want to leave that space. And I wanted to stay longer. But then I thought, oh my God, I haven't finished what I came to do. I've got to go back. And I guess there was a real charge with that thought. And I was almost instantly jerked back into my body. So this experience, obviously, it's so much happened after that, and I had to process what had happened, but it was really a major initiation, which had multiple effects, you know, on how I was living. But mostly it had a huge impact on my understanding of life, because I immediately had a different perspective. What I experienced on the other side for me was proof of other dimensional realities, of another plane of existence, but also the existence of that I am presence, because I had experienced myself as a soul, a sentient presence outside of my body. And I knew what that connection with soul felt like in a very visceral way. And that really changed me, because it changed my fundamental perception of reality, but also about that choice around incarnation, because I'd really had to make that choice very consciously.
So it wasn't your time to transition, and your soul gave you the direction, basically, that it's not your.
Yeah,
And
that's what I believe, yes.
Everyone who experienced this near-death experiences is describing this wonderful light and presence and love. And I have always thought, I so much want to experience this, but I don't want to go through near-death experience for that. It kind of feels frightening. And perhaps it's frightening for the people around, because if it's for a very short period of time, no one knows about that. But at the same time, just the thought is frightening for me. But I know that everyone shares this wonderful experience, and I kind of prayed if I can experience. But if it's not through this path, it kind of comes naturally to me to connect this light. I haven't yet. But always enjoy listening to these stories and how it shifts the perspective, how we live our lives, and how this changes paths. So how did this event change your soul path on the earth plane, and help you be in this 3D reality?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it was just a really big wake-up call, and it just changed the direction that I was going in. So I was at university. I was very, very politically involved. It was the 80s in South Africa, the anti-apartheid struggle. And it immediately catapulted me into a spiritual journey, where I became much more, woke me up to the soul life, and I became interested in spiritual things, and I wanted to really explore this other sort of reality that I'd experienced. But I think probably the most powerful thing was that during this experience, and also while I was recovering from my injuries afterwards, I connected with my first spirit guide. And my spirit guide told me that my life purpose was to heal myself and others. And at 21, I think I didn't really know what my life purpose was. So it was incredible to be given that message so clearly. And it's been my North Star ever since. And I got onto that track, onto that path, and walked that path ever since. So that was a really big thing. The other thing that happened was that after the car crash, I had this kind of explosion of psychic awareness. I mean, it really was an explosion. It was really intense. And it was like a doorway had been opened to the other side. And when I came back, it didn't close again. And so I always had this experience of walking between worlds, of being connected to that other dimensional reality. And that really helped me, because it helped me to stay connected with the soul world and stay connected to that unseen reality beneath the material world, which helped me to keep remembering who I am, and remembering during challenges and perhaps suffering about that infinite I am presence, and the infinite universe, and all the helpers, and all the support that there is for us. And of course, the love, when you connect with that world, there is this incredible feeling of just love and bliss and connection. So all these things really helped me to navigate the 3D reality, which was quite tough to come back into, even though I'd made the choice. And I think the point here for everybody is that this connection to that infinite I am, whether in the form of your soul or your spirit guides or just the universe and the higher realms, provides a navigation system that transcends our limited reality perceptions and also our personality struggles. Because I think the source of a lot of our suffering is disconnection. So if we have the connection, that changes our relationship with suffering. We can understand it from a higher perspective.
So in your suffering, you saw the blessing and the purpose of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And throughout my life, you know, I could go back to that moment when I was going through challenges, as we all do. I could always go back to that point.
I noticed you mentioned these dimensions below the reality, material reality that we live in. And we usually think it's kind of above higher dimensions.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that you're seeing is that, is it kind of, are you talking about being inside us, these dimensions? Oh.
Yeah, well, I think I experience it as both. I think it depends very much what I'm working with at the time. But one of the things that I really learned coming back was how important it was to be grounded and embodied and not to always try and go out, not to always go up to seek the higher realms, but to really try and stay connected within. And this idea of embodiment is so important right now because the ascension now, it used to be about transcending and leaving the physical body, right? But now our current lesson or our evolutionary growth path is to bring the divine aspects of self, the monad, the soul energy, into the physicality of existence, into the earth plane, into the density, and raise our frequency within the body and light body. So in other words, we need to ascend while incarnated, right?
Yes.
So it's not about going out of the body to access the higher dimensions. I believe I had that experience so I could have a taste of it, but I needed to learn how to bring that back. And I think we all need at the moment to learn how to do that. You know, soul embodiment is so important right now because it really is the very nature of our evolutionary growth and spiritual expansion, the growth path we've chosen as a collective. But often what gets in the way is our soul energy is fragmented due to past trauma, or we haven't brought all of our soul energy with us in the first place, and that might be intentional, or we resist being incarnated, and that's really common, resisting being incarnated. A lot of people, I see it with my clients, really struggle with being in the density of the earth plane, and especially starseed souls who used to write really much higher frequencies. And so it's really common to resist embodiment and leave soul energy sort of in the higher realms. So, I mean, in terms of your topic for your summit, I think this notion of soaring in the multi-dimensions, but also inhabiting the earth at the same time, that is really what we're learning at the moment. And it's why soul embodiment is so very important right now.
Yes, this is exactly what I feel, that we have been separated. We didn't know about this part of ourselves to start with. So now it's becoming more and more people are becoming more aware that we're much bigger than this physical body. And I kind of have delved into these realms through light language or Akashic records, and it's wonderful to be out there and be in this peaceful state. And then by bringing yourself into this reality, you become the separated you. So it's the importance of it came to me as well, that we have to be here on the earth doing what we came here to do, bringing togetherness and unity and living in harmony and balance, but we have to bring the soul here. So not going out there and splitting and between either this or either the 3D reality. So
that's right.
What you're saying is so relevant and right to the point to this topic of the summit. So you kind of really experienced this soul body embodiment during the car accident, during your near-death experience, and now you can do it now. So you are able to.
Yeah, I think it was one of the major lessons of that initiation for me. I had to learn how to, because I'd really connected in that higher realm, but then I had to learn how to bring it all in and also ground on the earth, like ground in the body, connect to the earth. And I really experienced how if the soul energy is more fully embodied, you have more energy available for soul purpose and soul mission. It becomes clearer because you're more connected to that. And you have more access to soul potential and soul gifts, and therefore a higher timeline. So I think these are the important things about soul embodiment. If we leave our soul energy out there and are disconnected from it, then that sense of soul purpose is often very diluted, or it remains inaccessible. So literally, remember, energy is information. So if we bring that soul energy in, we're also bringing in information about our soul journey, about our soul path, about our gifts. We remember, I know I went through experiences of just suddenly just remembering so many past lives, just, spontaneously. I didn't have to do regressions, because the more I brought that soul energy in, the more that information was just there, accessible and in my field. And I think for everybody now, this is so relevant because people are much more awake now to understanding that they have a soul purpose and a mission, and they want to, follow that soul path. And connecting with soul energy really assists with that, bringing in that clarity. And it also helps to raise our frequency while we're in a body. So there are a lot of good reasons for it. And there are there's several energetic pathways that we can use to gather soul energy and embody our highest soul potential. And connecting with the monad is one of those pathways.
Wonderful. And when we have embodied our soul, as you said, this vital force energy starts flowing through us. And it's obvious in our day-to-day life that we have done that, because we suddenly have so many synchronicities happening that look like miracles. And we know that we are, at least this is how I feel, it's an indicator that, okay, I'm really following my soul. My soul is in me, or whatever we want to call it.
Yes.
Actually are offering these sessions for people, because this summit has the purpose, it's kind of very practical reason to create, first to understand who we are, but also to bring all the different ways that we can choose how to really embody this infinite light being that we are. So, and you are offering this in your own unique way that you downloaded during this experience, or developed further through this connection with the soul. And it's all on your website. But you mentioned about the monad. So what exactly is the monad?
Okay, so the monad. So this is obviously one of the ways in which we can connect with soul energy, is to go right to the source, because the monad is really the origin of the soul. It was it's the highest version of the soul. It's our pure spiritual essence, and it's always present. So if we go back to literally the birth of creation, when the universe was forming, the creator, however you want to conceive of the creator, sent out billions of sparks of pure source energy, which is basically pure love. And these divine sparks were the original monads. So there were lots of these monads, but each monad then split into 12 souls, known as the oversouls. And then those 12 oversouls sent out a further 12 what we call soul extensions. So that created 144 souls, which form a monadic group. So, for example, your soul would be one of those 144 souls that belong to a monad or a monadic group. Okay. And what's interesting to me is that your monadic group, which is different to your soul group, could be in different parts of the universe or on the earth at the same time. But wherever they are, these 144 souls that belong to the original monad are psychically connected. So you could be supporting or drawing energy from other of the souls in your monadic group while you're incarnated. So, for example, if you're awakened or you're raising your frequency, you could send a flash without even being aware of it to other monadic souls in your group who might still be asleep. Or, yeah, it's like you're sending an activation wave to them. And often monadic souls groups work in unison towards common goals, again, wherever they are in the cosmos. So it's a very powerful sort of grouping, and connecting with your monad obviously helps you to connect with your own soul essence and more of your soul energy, but also your monadic group, which is like this collective soul energy in that group of 144 souls. But it also helps you to connect when you start working with monadic pathways. It helps you to connect with oneness consciousness. And actually, as part of the ascension process that we're in at the moment, all the monads are actually starting to merge. And when this process is complete, I mean, we're not there yet, but when this process is complete, we'll have a totally new experience of oneness consciousness, because it'll be happening through this merging of the monads. But obviously, first we have to work with forging our personal connection to our own monad. And that's something that I think can really be a powerful pathway to, bringing in more soul energy.
Yes, I would like you to tell us how to connect, but so does it mean this group, this monad, all these 144 souls have similar characteristics, somehow share similar characteristics, or they are different, and the aim of this is for them to support each other in a different way, from a different point, from a different perspective? How do you see that?
The way I see it is that the monadic soul groups have a very similar energy.
Okay.
So they might be personality-wise very different, but there would be a very similar energy and soul purpose and frequency. So if you met somebody who was in your monadic group, you would definitely have that experience of recognition and familiarity and a sense of just knowing everything about that person. So yes, a very similar energy.
So, and it is about supporting each other.
Yes.
Without even knowing, as you said, it's kind of beyond the intentional level even.
Yes.
What you described is how I understand it. How interesting.
Yes. So we might be doing that even like in the dream time at night. We might be working in unison with other members of our monadic group. We might do it in unconscious ways, but we might never meet anyone from our monadic group. We're more likely to meet people from our soul group, which is other souls that we've traveled with through various incarnations and we've had lifetimes with over and over and over again. They'll also feel very familiar, but that's a different type of relationship.
I see the difference now.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, what you're mentioning now feels like with the people that we meet and they're part of our soul group, we usually work out our patterns.
Our karma.
Yes, our karma.
Yeah, and it's not always fun.
No,
Yeah.
it has a purpose, but it can be a struggle sometimes if it's not consciously accepted as path. So the monad is more spiritual and supportive connection for our growth. Am I right to think that?
Yes, and I think that's actually quite a nice distinction. I mean, all of it's for our growth, but the monadic group is more working in unison towards a common goal and supporting and activating, waking each other up, even if we never meet. With a soul group, an ordinary soul group, we've known each other through many, many lifetimes, and we are also supporting our growth, but through karma. Working, through karmic lessons and patterns. So it's a very different level. And we will meet these people again and again and again. Whereas our monadic group, we might never meet those people.
But it's amazing to know that whatever happens, we have this connection within the group of 144 souls. And we're not, it's very popular knowledge, knowing that there is so much life sent to us to encourage and support our ascension or raising our frequency. But this is another way, even without knowing that is existing, it's underlying our existence here. I think it's absolutely new to me. So thank you very much. Very grateful that you mentioned about this. So we know about that, that even through our this net of souls can. And you said that there are beings that are not earth beings. They may come from this.
Veselka, I'm going to interrupt you. It started raining really, really heavily here, and I can't hear you at all. So I'm just going to put my earphones in.
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear?
I can. There is. Yes. Thank you for changing, because I can hear you better now.
Okay, great.
Important.
Great.
So this other souls from that are not from the earth and perhaps from other star systems, when we connect with them, sometimes it happens spontaneously. Does it mean that they're part of this monad?
It can be.
Think about this.
Yes, it can be, because sometimes the other souls that are part of the monad are not on Earth. They're in other parts of the cosmos. So yes, that's possible. And they could be coming through to offer support. Yes.
Because I had this spontaneous experience of meeting Arcturian beings presented themselves to me. It was an amazing and so real, much more real than the real world, this connection. And so I had kind of messages, conversations with them. They started teaching me about how universe works, about energy healing. At some point, I had the notion that our totem animals, the spirit animals, and they were part of ourselves, an aspect of ourselves. And I had this thought that probably these Arcturian beings were aspect of me, and as if I disconnected from them, but I haven't disconnected, but kind of as if this lost its charm. And I'm thinking, how strange is that kind of when it's an external connection, it feels so we so much want to externalize what we receive as more valuable rather than thinking it's an aspect of ourselves.
So, yeah, wow. Yeah, I love that. I love that experience. And it can be. I mean, we do also connect with beings from higher realms, but sometimes that connection can be with an aspect of the monad.
Yes, I think what you're explaining is a real connection more, it feels like, when I tune into that. And it kind of is, our conversation is very enlightening and very healing for me too. What you shared.
Yeah.
How can we connect with our monads? You started,
Yeah.
But,
there are a few ways. So it's always a choice and an intention that we have to start with, is that have that sincere desire and an intention, and have a spiritual practice that we put in place. So in terms of energetic pathways, one of the pathways is from the high heart, so just above the heart chakra, sometimes known as the 8th chakra. It's also the upper chamber of the 5th dimensional heart. And here there is an energetic soul cord, which connects you to the monad. And it's always there while you're incarnated. And when you die, the soul cord dissolves and you return to the monad. So you can strengthen the soul cord just with the energy of love, and with that also that intention of connecting, having that soul cord be a strong pathway to the monadic energy. Another pathway that I've been working with, and this is a really powerful one, is the Antakarana Bridge of Rainbow Light, which starts connecting at the Stellar Gateway chakra, which is the 12th chakra, just about a meter above the top of the head. And so this is an energetic bridge which connects with the I Am Soul presence and the monadic energy. And it's a communication pathway, so it allows for wisdom and guidance to that transcends rational thinking and the egoic personality. It allows for that communication to, more like downloads, I guess, to flow more easily. And it's sometimes called the Bridge of Revelation because it gives the kind of revelations that, the things that the mind can't fathom. And one of the ways that we can, to build this Antakarana bridge, we first have to activate the Stellar Gateway chakra. So if your audience hasn't worked with the 5th dimensional chakras, that would be the starting point to first activate the 5D chakras, and especially the Stellar Gateway. And then the Antakarana bridge, which the starting point is the Stellar Gateway chakra, it's an etheric bridge that there's no template. It's not like the 5D chakras where there's a blueprint and a template, and the primary chakras that are just there. We have to create it. We have to use intention and visualization and invocation and prayer. It really is a practice where we create this rainbow bridge. And obviously that is a lot easier if you have a regular meditation practice where you can start just adding this rainbow bridge creation at the end of the practice. It is something that we'll talk about later. It's part of, I offer a meditation that is included in my free gift. So there's more about that there. But as I said, it is something that has to be a sort of an etheric pathway that we create. And then there's also something called the monadic invocation, which is like a prayer. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's another way to connect with the monad. And it's really a series of I am mantras, which work up 9 levels of what we call the soul ladder. And it's really a powerful way to connect with our soul, but also the monad, also the higher realms, and also as you go up and you say these mantras, it raises frequency. So it's a really powerful invocation. Yeah, so those are some of the ways in which, you know, some of the pathways that we can explore and work with, and it really is like anything. It's an energetic and a spiritual practice that over time you start really feeling that connection. Yeah.
And
So
this mantra, the I am 12 levels, you said, I think. Is it something that is also in your gift, or it's something that you're doing in one-on-one sessions, or how
it's included in the gift.
Wow.
Yeah, so the masterclass is about your monadic I am, and there's 2 meditations. First one, preparing for the connection, priming the light body, and then the second one is actually connecting with the monad, creating the template for the Antakarana bridge, and we end with the monadic invocations. So all the pathways that I've mentioned, if your audience would like to explore these further, then everything is in the video recording that I'm offering as a gift.
Yeah, thank you so much. It feels very inviting. So for me, so I invite everyone to claim this gift, be part of your community, because you've got more beautiful offerings and teachings in your Emerald Wisdom School. It's just one question. Is this group, see, I'm very curious, is this Monad group that we are part of throughout all our incarnations?
Yes.
Yes. So
yes.
This is how we're supposed to express ourselves within. It kind of feels like a group consciousness that we are supposed to bring here on the earth and develop probably further. We do evolve through this Monadic group.
Yes, and in fact, I've heard that when we die and we return to the monad, we take with us the growth and the lessons that we've learned on the Earth School, and we take that back to the monad, and it becomes then part of the monadic group growth. So we're constantly feeding the monadic group. So we work as an organism and for eternity, because it's the original soul group, and we'll travel through time like that. Whereas the soul group, those relationships keep changing. We might have some primary soulmates that we incarnate with again and again and again, but there'll be others coming in and going out, and once the lessons learned, we may not see them again for 20 lifetimes. It's more fluid. But the monadic group, as you say, it's like a group consciousness, an organism that evolves together.
As you mentioned, it's constantly evolving through our earth experiences or other worldly experiences. And it's fascinating what you said, that now these monads have evolved to an extent that they can merge to this feeling of oneness. And I kind of get chills when I'm saying that their tendency to merge, to create this oneness that is that we're talking about, living from this place of oneness. So
yeah, I mean, that is happening as part of the ascension, collective ascension journey that we're on. And apparently that started to happen, this monadic merging. And there are groups of light workers around the world who are really working with that process to hold the space for that, to facilitate it. But I believe that we still, that's still right in the early stages. You know, we still have a way to go before the monads actually merge, but it will really take that oneness consciousness to a whole new level.
Well, we're following the energies of the whole cosmos that we're part of. So the important thing is to know that this is the right way to go. And it's spoken of in so many different ways by so many different teachers. And yes, so it is amazing how you're describing it in such a different way. And it's very visual. It's kind of, it feels so tangible, what although we're talking about different dimensions, but it's amazing how you just brought it here in a grounded way. So you've got one more thing. You mentioned about, before we just started, about this. I would like, your work is just amazing, what you're offering. It's so unique. And you're offering now this program that is coming in July. So like, if you could say something more about that, because there might be real interest here.
Yeah, it's a 6-week program starting at the beginning of July, and it's called Energetics of the Fifth Dimension and Beyond. And it's all about activating fifth dimensional frequency, but also embodying 5D frequency. So the program will be like a guided journey into the fifth dimension and really taking people through a process of activating the 5D chakras, but also various energetic pathways that will help people to really embody a higher frequency, and also to integrate sort of higher consciousness into day-to-day life. So it's all about integrating it into how we live and anchoring it here into the earth. So that's the program.
And it's the best way to do. How, because just talking about this other higher dimensional aspects of ourselves that we've got, and theorizing it kind of doesn't work anymore. We want them grounded and and living with it, with it, and touch the results. This is the time now that we can see the results from who we are. So thank you for doing that and offering this program. And I encourage everyone who really feels drawn to your work to check it out. It's on your website?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it's on the website.
So it's again under this video available.
Yeah.
As well as the link for the free gift.
Yes.
So we've come to an end, I think, unless you want to say something else at the end.
Well, I guess the only other thing to look out for, just in terms of things that I'm working on and things that might be of interest, is my book, No Gold Without the Dragon, which was published last year. It's going into its 2nd edition, and that's going to be released in the United States on June 25th. And the reason I'm mentioning that for your audience is because the book is really the story of my journey. So it goes into a lot more detail into, you know, how I worked with that whole aspect of you know, transitioning to be a healer and working with the world of energy and exploring these multidimensional pathways. So it might be of interest to people who you know, really want to go more into what that spiritual journey is all about. And yeah, so I just want to mention that.
Of course, thank you for mentioning it. It feels like it's it's an encouragement for everyone who is on this journey, what is possible, to see what's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever wants to see what's possible and how they can work with energy, and that you're a real example how you can transform your life through that.
Yeah, no, the book is meant to be inspirational, and there are a lot of case studies taken from, you know, real situations with my clients over the years. So lots of very practical, tangible examples of transformation.
Thank you for mentioning. And is it, the summit is going to happen exactly then, from the 19th to the 20th June? We are pre-recording this. Not so far to go live, but it's going to happen then. And is there a way for pre-booking, purchasing the book, or once available, people can buy?
It'll be available, and again, all the links will be on my website for various purchasing options, whether through Amazon, through Barnes and Noble, through you know, various bookstores in the US and ebook platforms. So it's pretty much accessible to anybody who can access internet. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the work you're doing. And for saying yes to this event.
Thank you.
Which seems so aligned, the work you're doing with the topic of the summit, and bringing all this wisdom, which is very experiential, which gives it a special value. So thank you for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Growing the consciousness, assisting the ascending process of humanity. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you. And thank you for, you know, inviting me to be a part of this, because it really is. It's just wonderful to have these conversations.
It is. And I really enjoyed this conversation, and the new knowledge you brought to us. Thank you so much. And I hope our audience also enjoyed this conversation too, and find that there is a lot to take away from it. So thank you, and wishing you all well. And I hope we can connect again. Bye for now.